Hello and welcome to Nutshell Recaps. This video explains the synopsis of the movie The Platform. Warning, there will be spoilers, so proceed with caution. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, it will really help our channel grow. The movie begins with Goring awakening in a concrete cell with the number 48 written on its wall in a jail known as the Vertical Self-Management Center. There is only a bed, a wash basin, and a hole in the floor that his cellmate Trimagesi refers to as the pit for him to use. There are hundreds of floors like theirs, each with two inmates who use fictitious names given to them by management. Every day, food is lowered through the hole on a platform, giving you 2 minutes to consume as much as you can before it descends to a lower floor. The likelihood of ingesting anything decreases as you descend. Prisoners are moved to other floors at the conclusion of each month. Goring decides not to eat when he first sees the platform because he is not hungry and would rather save food for the lower levels. Trimagesi spits on the table after eating as much as he can, knowing that others above him surely do the same. Goring chooses to save an apple for later, but as soon as the platform departs, the cage feels too warm. Evidently, it's against the law to keep food. Therefore, Goring must dispose of the apple, or they'll perish in a fiery explosion. This reminds Goring of the interview he had at the facility to get in, during which he was had to sign a document acknowledging that he couldn't leave until the predetermined time had passed. Every prisoner has the option of bringing one object with them, and Goring decided to bring a copy of Don Quixote. Goring arrived on his own initiative, and in exchange for his 6 months of work, he will receive a recognized diploma. When the platform arrives the next day, Goring still won't eat, and Trimagesi feels that level 48 was a waste of space for him. Goring invites Trimagesi to tell his narrative, and Trimagesi replies that it all began with a television commercial. A few days after he purchased an exceptional knife that he had seen on television, a new advertisement for an even better knife was broadcast. He was so enraged by this that he seized the television and flung it out the window, killing a passerby. Trimagesi was given the option between a mental health facility or this location. He chose the hole, since he's only gone as low as 132. He is aware that there are other floors because he can see them below. No food can get to the lower levels, and spending a month there isn't all that unpleasant. The issue arises when you experience 2 consecutive lower levels. Fearing this possibility, Goring makes an effort to speak with others on the other floors and beg them to restrict their food, but he is ignored. In addition to revealing that the object he decided to bring with him is the knife he purchased from television, Trimagesi responds by peeing into the bottom floor. The following time the platform passes, Goring starts to eat. He also witnesses a member of the upper levels falling down the gap. Trimagesi claims that although this occurs frequently, no one takes action. Trimagesi informs Goring of all the floors he has seen and lets him know they will be spending next month together. Goring finally understands Trimagesi ate his prior cellmate when he was on the lower floors and realizes that cellmates are kept together when they are shuffled. The platform passes by once more, and Miharu is seated. Goring is concerned about her since he sees that she is hurt, but Trimagesi advises him to disregard her. The man they saw falling was undoubtedly Miharu's victim. She descends the hole once a month to search for her lost child and kills every cellmate she can to increase her chances of pairing up with her child the next month. Trimagesi goes on to say that, in contrast to her, he never killed anyone. Instead, he simply ate the body that had fallen to his floor. The convicts attempt to take advantage of Miharu when the platform rises to the next level. Goring orders them to stop bothering her, but it is unnecessary because Miharu simply kills them before returning to the stage. The captives are gassed to sleep and moved around at the end of the month. Goring awakens on floor 171, where he discovers himself bound to his bed. Trimagesi explains he tied Goring up because he's younger and stronger, so Trimagesi has to protect himself. Screaming can be heard from the other floors that indicate people reacting to their new levels, and when the platform comes, there's not even a crumb left. After 8 days, Trimagesi announces it's finally time for him to get some food. Ignoring Goring's pleas for mercy, Trimagesi uses his knife to get some meat from Goring's thigh, but before he can eat it, the platform arrives, bringing Miharu with it. Miharu leaps on Trimagesi and attacks him with his own knife after remembering how much Goring worried about her. She then releases Goring and gives him the dagger so he can kill Trimagesi with it. After that, Goring falls asleep, and when he wakes up, he is in bed. While eating Trimagesi, Miharu had bandaged his leg with a piece of bedding. She offers Goring some meat, which he reluctantly eats, and she also offers him some water before silently walking off the stage. As time goes on, Trimagesi's body starts to deteriorate, providing Goring the opportunity to eat worms as well. A hallucination of Trimagesi's spirit judging Goring while he eats also starts to happen. Gas takes over the cell towards the end of the month, and Goring dreams of being with a lady once more as Miharu observes. When he finally awakens, he sees that a dog is licking him. Goring is shocked to discover Imogiri in his new cell. Imogiri conducted his interview when he agreed to enter this prison. They are currently at level 33, and she elected to bring the dog with her. Goring recalls the interview day and the unsettling pauses Imogiri used in between inquiries. Imogiri reveals that she volunteered as Goring did in the present and that she was unaware that people perished here. There are 200 levels as far as she is aware, And when Goring says there isn't enough food for everyone here, Imogiri remarks that the quantity of food would be sufficient if people just ate what they actually required. Goring considers the idea absurd, but something that encourages a spontaneous sense of solidarity needs to happen. He does question if the passing of a child could bring about change, but Imogiri is certain that under 16s are not permitted to work for the company. Imogiri only consumes what she needs when the platform sends them food, and after giving some to her dog, she starts preparing 2 rations. Imogiri tries to reason with the convicts as the platform reaches the lower level by telling them to consume the food she prepared and prepare 2 more for the following level to convey the point. She is obviously utterly disregarded, and Goring observes that the administration isn't really interested in solidarity. Goring responds that being a former employee allowed her the right to select her cellmate. Imogiri objects to Goring's belief that all administration is evil because she worked there without incident. Imogiri doesn't give up and tries to ration the food every day, but the lower levels continue to ignore her. After hearing her yell for 2 weeks, Goring finally snaps and threatens the populace, saying that if they don't follow Imogiri's orders, he'll poop on the food every day and they'll have to eat it. The threat is effective, and the convicts begin relaying information to lower levels. Later, the platform collapses, leaving an unresponsive Miharu atop it. She is cared for and placed on a bed by Goring and Imogiri while the dog grabs some food. The cage gets incredibly chilly as the platform departs, and Goring has to chase the dog to retrieve the food he took before they are executed for disobeying the regulations. In the evening, Goring gives Miharu the bed and goes to bed on the floor. When Goring awakens, the girls are fighting, and it turns out that Miharu killed the dog so she could eat him. On the platform, Miharu departs the following day. Goring informs Imogiri about Miharu's search for her kid. However, Imogiri responds that Miharu arrived by herself 10 months prior. She also volunteered to go, but she was an actress without a family. Imogiri, who has been battling cancer for 3 years, sent people down here without realizing how severe the situation was. She agreed to attend when she learned she had lost the battle because she believed she could help, but now she is unconcerned. They may not have food tomorrow. So Goring tries to get Imogiri to eat on their final day on floor 33, but Imogiri is too depressed to get out of bed. There are more levels than Imogiri expected when Goring wakes up the following morning to find himself on floor 202. Imogiri found this knowledge to be too hard to bear and ended things for herself by using her bedclothes. Tranavesi's delusion reappears at that very moment, wondering if Goring will consume his new friend. This time, Imogiri and her dog have joined him, and they both feel that he should consume her body. Goring does his best to ignore their continual babbling and keeps himself occupied by reading book pages to mislead his stomach and counting the days on the wall with shards of broken plates. But when the hunger finally gets to be too much, Goring starts to eat Imogiri while Primagesi shows him where to make the cuts. When the next shuffle occurs later, Goring is happy to see that he is on floor 6. He is pursued by Miharu, who is sleeping on the opposite bed, with a knife, but this turns out to be a dream. Bharat, whose selected object was a rope, is actually Goring's new cellmate. Bharat requests for assistance from those on level 5 since he is extremely confident that he can ascend all the way to the top from here. When Bharat starts climbing, the female prisoner lowers her trousers and feces on his face after the pair above him teases him before agreeing to take the rope. Shocked and disgusted, Bharat lets go of the rope and falls. Goring catches him just in time, but the rope is lost in the hole. When the platform comes, they have to eat while listening to the prisoners on level 5 get frisky. As time passes, the hallucinations of Primagesi and Imogiri show up again. Trimagesi says Goring is doing great because he only has 1 more month to go, and Imogiri reminds him that change never happens spontaneously. This inspires Goring to think of a plan, and he asks Bharat for help. To ensure that everyone has access to food, they should leap onto the platform with any weapon they can find. When he was on floor 202, Goring did the maths and estimated that there were roughly 250 levels, which should be manageable based on how long it took the platform to move. Bharat agrees to collaborate, and they smash a bed to use the metal fragments as weapons. On level 7, when they proceed after jumping onto the platform, Goring explains that they shouldn't let the convicts take anything. They should only start giving out food until level 50, which is when the folks having problems are because these people ate yesterday and will undoubtedly eat tomorrow. Although these convicts are buddies who helped him ascend a few weeks prior, Bharat hesitates. However, as the old guy reacts angrily, Bharat understands Goring's point and starts assisting him in keeping everyone away. While threatening passersby to leave the food alone, the couple keeps falling. Bharat is astonished to see Brambang, an elderly wise man who Bharat respects, after ascending a few more stories. The lad's efforts are supported by Brambang, but he notes that the administration lacks conscience and won't care if they succeed. However, possibly the employees on level 0 will. Thus, they want a sign, because the panna cotta is a highly opulent dish and will make a big impact if it shows up unaltered to the bottom. Bharat and Goring decide to serve it. The goal is to preserve the panna cotta safe and deter people from eating it as they continue to descend. People are incredibly appreciative when Bharat and Goring start giving out food rations at level 50. A sick old man and a youngster with mental disabilities are discovered on level 97. The youngster tells them not to bother since he'll kill the man later to feed on him, despite Goring's best efforts to serve the elderly man some soup. Goring surmises that Miharu woke up on the following level because there is only a body there. Since there aren't any people on the platform, Goring's estimations were off, and there are actually more than 250 floors. Two males are attacking Miharu on the upper floor, they discover. When Goring and Baharat step in to help the girl, it is quite difficult for them to protect themselves because one of them has a sword and the other is big and bulky. Baharat succeeds in getting his man first, and he then assists Goring in killing the large man. But it's too late for Miharu, who has already passed away. Goring wants to pay his respects, but Baharat forces him back onto the platform before it departs. Even though many floors only have dead bodies on them, the two of them keep walking down and giving food to the inmates they find. The platform eventually comes to an end at level 333, which appears to be the last one. They initially believe it to be vacant, but Mali, the missing youngster, is actually hiding inside. When Baharat and Goring reach the child, the platform begins to descend once more. Baharat declines Goring's request to throw the panna cotta into the hole. They are shocked when neither the temperature nor the humidity of the room change to punish them, and Bharata finally gives Mali the panna cotta after much deliberation. The three of them continue to reside on that floor, and Goring continues to be tormented by Trimagasi, Imogiri, and, as of recently, Miharu. Goring suddenly hears Baharat agree with the ghosts and say that the girl is the message. When Goring awakens, he learns that Baharat passed away as a result of his bleeding wounds. The following time the platform arrives, Goring lowers Mali along with him into floor 0, which is totally dark and vacant. Together, they watch the platform rise with Mali in the hopes that she will demonstrate to the abusers above the truth of the issue. Trinogesi then appears to urge Goring to leave the platform because he isn't a part of the message.